Namo Manju Shri Nama So Shri Nama O Dama Shri Soha O Namo Manju Shri Nama So Shri Nama O Dama Shri Soha O Namo Manju Shri Nama So Shri Nama O Dama Shri Soha 觉当作给充脑来将诸佛多当地感受解大给全年给别从那给罗拉边界上给诸宝说觉当作给充脑来将诸佛多当地感受解大给全年给别从那给罗拉边界上给诸宝说觉当作给充脑来将诸佛多当地感受解大给全年给别从那给罗拉边界上给诸宝说 北给主心没多长，日绕灵犀你得给毛的，上给心多没得我一周给能到些了绝不说一到一个肉让他们到了康地呀到呀米。
동아지나 있으게되다 통해서 다들 책임을 지고 가진 좀 자다니 마마지 버티 좀 마시 봐 통도 못 잡아 굉장히 좀 만드는 대화도 좀 만들고 지금 그냥 마시는 이해가 부지잖아요 굉장히 만드는 이 지표를 쳐봐 지금 좀 제가 주식 쳐봐 다고 시험 그 대신에 만나면 신경 써서 시험 보냈어요.
So, all sentient beings, all suffering sentient beings have been our mothers, and all suffering sentient beings have been our mothers for numberless times. They are as kind as the mothers of these lives. Even though all kind mothers sentient beings want happiness and do not want suffering at all, however, due to not knowing the objects of abandonment and options properly, they create a karma that brings forth the result of suffering only. In our minds, sincerely generate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings, thinking, how nice if all kind mother sentient beings have happiness. May all kind mother sentient beings have happiness. I will cause all kind mother sentient beings to have happiness. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so.
어디에서 동안에 있으게 되다 통 이제 무엇을 좀 어디 초 타다다 전에 좀 저 지지 저 다비셔 되다 신이 말라말라 신지 받아서 무슨 문제가
Next, we cultivate compassion toward all suffering mother sentient beings. How nice if 3 doors of all suffering mother sentient beings be free of all adversities. May 3 doors of all suffering mother sentient beings be free of all adversities. I will cause 3 doors of all suffering mother sentient beings to be free of all adversities. Dharma, please bless me to be able to do so.
어디에서 동아지나 있으게 되다 통 이제 고아들 소리 동안에 보는 게 슬럽 보는 게 얘랑 보다 다디네 가서 나타나 보고 선지지 공부하는 게 누가 쓰다여서 나타나 보고 선지가 이거 선지 터지고 선지지 공부하는 게 좀더 더 샤워 주세요.
Next, we generate bodhicitta. First, we ask ourselves who should take the responsibility to free all sentient beings from the sufferings of whole samsara and of three lower realms. I should take the responsibility to free all sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and lower realms. However, I do not have the ability to do so. Only those who have achieved the state of enlightenment have the ability to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all sentient beings, by all means, I want to become Buddha.
그 뒤에 탄진한 적이 생겨야지. 이제 탄진된 상지지 공부하다가 샤오 이런 분들 님바 공부 이제 되네. 그런 게 내가 다 있지고 무슨 거 되는 거지. 그래서 고고 그 가도 그것이 생각. 그 뒤에 최단계는 이게 뭐 그 본단에 한게 생 로지도 지금 된다는 저기 생게. 로지까지 생각이 있는 거지. 뒤에 선으로
Next, we generate all-encompassing yoga mind that once aspiring conventional bodhicitta that thinks, I will become enlightened for the sake of all sentient beings. These turn into perfect mundis, a white color mundis. And one's ultimate bodhicitta, which is one's mind becoming in one taste with emptiness, that all phenomena are lacking of inherent existence. And these turn into a white 5-point vajra on top of the mundis.
이제 더 부모들은 이 기대되는 건데요. 뭐 누구랑 이쪽에 동안에서 어머니 때문에 주지 있는 거죠.
Next, we meditate on emptiness, that I neither exist intrinsically one with, nor intrinsically different from the aggregates. Thus, I do not exist intrinsically.
대지에서 이제 통지적인 상지식 공부하다가 대체로 어떤 최선의 그 면에 책임을 지는 생각을 본다들이 사업을 지내겠어.
Set motivation. For the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha. For this purpose, I'm going to receive a commentary on holy teachings and practice accordingly in order to benefit sentient beings.
다 데리셔서 계산 상대 다 셈바들어 그게 이거로 다 셈빌레데 가서 나를 치면 쉬어도 집어지셔야 되는데로.
So this is the third omnipresent mental factors. So the third one is called intentions. So this is the same as the explanation. This is the same as the Lamrim Chemo that previously last class we talked about this also.
quand c'est dit quand le sommes de c'est un peu c'est
Yeah. So what is intention? It is a compositional mental actions of the mind, and it has the functions of engaging the mind in virtue, non-virtue, or the unspecified. So unspecified is also new. It's called neutral.
quand rendre celui c'est là il aussi quoi c'est celui là c'est bas c'est le c'est le doigt on peut dire pas dans le monde de chez nous on a celui c'est là il aussi quoi c'est celui là quand c'est bas c'est le
So what is intention? What is the nature of intentions? So as said, so it's a mental factor that rouses or that moves the mind moves its concomitant mind to an object. So as mentioned here, the mental factor which rouses and moves the mind that is concomitant with it to an object is called intention. And this is said to be the principle among all mental factors. And it is taught that any mind or mental factor engages an object due to the power of this mental factor. So among all mental factors, intention is said to be the main one. And so the mental factors that which moves the mind and the mental factors to engage an object, the one that moves it is intention. So given an example to illustrate this, so it's just like a piece of iron is uncontrollably drawn by the magnet. So the mind uncontrollably engage an object due to these mental factors as well, the mental factor of intention. So when intention is divided in terms of its basis, then there are 6. So this is same as what we previously talked about. So there are 6. The first one is intention arising from contact upon the aggregations of aggregations of eye, and then ear, nose, tongue, body, and also of mental sense power. So there are 5 sense consciousness and 1 mental consciousness. So this intention is mental action. In general, there are 2 types of actions. So when we talk about actions, there are many different types of divisions regarding actions. So however, referring to the Abhidhamma, then the actions is divided into these 2 actions. These 2. Also from Compendium of Knowledge also talks about the character of karma is condensed into these 2 actions. There are intentions and intended actions. So intended actions are further divided into 2 as well. So intended actions are physical actions and verbal actions. So actions that are intentions, as mentioned just now, this intention is mental actions.
That was a long time in the year and that so we going so children we going to children another day dear because they days long time to another because they did you know that you want to that we choose you know that you want to shout vigilance in the future that the long time it's long time we want to see that because they days what they did. You know the chief on the Shinata, each lesson again, Jews.
Yeah, as said, as Lamrim Shimo says, so in terms of nature, so there are 7 actions, 7 physical and verbal actions. So if add the motivations, so then it becomes 10. So motivations refer to the 3 mental actions.
That was the children in the game of the legend around choosing a started Shimabasi. That on the Nela Kanda, you are the Madio, monthly songs and you.
Yeah. So furthermore, when actions are divided, then they are 3: virtuous, non-virtuous, and unspecified, called neutral.
That gave out the Madio, that gave that cannot be one Malay. That gave the Kazushibanashi. The ball had a mature of the letters of the they were moving and the ball had a mature of the letters of the
yeah, so and then previously we also talked about this. So virtuous karma through which one is born in the desire realms as human and God.
The Magi or Honda
and non-virtuous karma are karma that through which one is born in 3 lower realms, hell, hungry ghost, and animal.
That you know, we give them the Kaya Navachi. You can give me a Kaya, you know, never to leave less about the
unspecified karma or neutral karma is karma accumulated without a virtuous or non-virtuous motivations, and that is called unspecified or neutral karma. Yeah, so neutral karma is accumulated with neutral motivations. Like for example, if one do not have any virtuous or non-virtuous motivations, so when one feels hungry, then one eats food, and one drinks water when one feels thirsty. So without any virtuous or non-virtuous motivations, then that becomes a neutral karma. So I said, if we drink water when we feel thirsty, and when we eat food when we feel hungry, with a neutral motivations, then one accumulates neutral karma. So however, we can turn these actions of drinking food and drinking water into a virtuous actions. So that is with a virtuous motivations. Like for example, when we generate the motivations when we drink food is to sustain this body, to nurture this body, so that this body is healthy, is sound, is strong, to perform virtuous activities. So if we drink water or eat food with these virtuous motivations, then these actions of drinking water or eating food also become virtuous. So actions also can be divided into three types: meritorious, non-meritorious, and immovable. So meritorious actions are actions through which one is born in the desire realms, and non-meritorious are actions through which one is born in lower realms. The desire realms of a human and God. Yeah. So meritorious karma are actions through which one is born in desire realm as human and God. So meritorious actions are actions through which one is born in desire realm as God and human. Non-meritorious actions are actions through which one is born in lower realms, such as hell. And immovable karma or immovable actions are actions through which one is born in higher realms, the form realm and formless realm. So immovable karma is also called non-transferring actions or non-transferring karma. So the reason of calling it an immovable karma is because the projecting and completing actions through which one is born in higher realms, so referring to form and formless realms. So its ripened result will not ripen in other realms or ripen in other levels. So it will only ripen in form and formless realms. Therefore, it is called immovable karma or non-transferring action. And the projecting, as it like for example, the projecting actions that projecting actions through which one is born in desire realms. So those the ripened result of these projecting actions is movable actions. So the third one is immovable actions, right? So however, like for example, the meritorious actions through which one is born in desire realms, right? So its a ripened result can be movable. Its ripened result can be a movable actions or transferring actions. For example, if a person who practice a great generosity, so together with morality, so through practicing morality, then one will be born in higher realms or happy realms, and then through the actions of practicing generosity, then the person will experience the results of having abundance to enjoy. So a lot of objects of enjoyments. So this result of practicing generosity, which is have a lot, have abundance to enjoy. This will ripen when the person is born in higher realms or happy realms. So because of morality, then one is born in higher realms, right? Then because of generosity, one have abundance to enjoy. So because this person have morality and generosity, therefore this person will experience the result of generosity while being while born in the higher realms. So if another person who also practice generosity, however, this person do not guard the morality. So due to practicing generosity, this person will still have abundance to enjoy, right? However, due to the faulty morality, it will bring the result of being born in lower realms, such as being born as a Naga being. So, and then this result of generosity, which is abundance to enjoy, will ripen when this being born as a Naga being. So this Naga beings become a wealthy Naga being. So because of this, those actions are said to be a movable actions or transferring actions.
That you will want to PG that Roji check that you want about a move. Yes, check so that PG that Roji check us. You want about a money check us. That PG that Roji check us that they would check this. That page the Doji Sana, not the page of the page game tomba. Doji gay to Bachi, Mutamuchi, Mama China, page game, Doji gay to Bachi, Mutamuchi. Page McGee, Doji McGee, Bachi, Nibachi. Page McGee, Doji McGee, Nibachi. Page game, Doji McGee, page game, Doji McGee. That page McGee, Honky, Doji Gate of Ishi. What? Ishi, how much share? Page of Doji Chaba. So, I'm going to teach what.
And so, in this regard, then it is very important to know in details, for example, the identifications of these actions, the manner in which results are established, and the difference between projecting and completing karma, and the difference between those that are definite to be experienced and those that are not definite to be experienced. So the difference between projecting karma and completing karma, so these two factors can become four possibilities. So with these two factors, it will become four possibilities. So the first possible combinations is virtuous projecting karma and virtuous completing karma. So, or another way of saying this is projected by a virtuous karma and completed by a virtuous karma. So this is another way of saying this. So this is the first combination. And the second combinations is non-virtuous projecting karma and non-virtuous completing karma. So the third combinations is virtuous projecting karma and non-virtuous completing karma. The fourth combinations is non-virtuous projecting karma and virtuous completing karma.
That's what we talk about the page game, the Doji game, that 세시는 게 좋아. 다 페이지에 게임 봐. 조지 게임 봐. 다 레빌 하트. 레빌 하다 다미 페이지와 다 미가 가도 말이야. 다 지금 와서 하지와 페이지 레데 게일에 와. 페이지 레데 게일에. 미지와 페이지 레데 게일에. 와 게일에. 다 페이지 게일에 다다 하라 지와레는 미래 지와레는 강가도 페이지 게일에 한번 와. 페이지 게일에 한번. 다 조지들 제발 조지에서 와든 가서 가르쳐 소속이 대두 용하더래 대두 남이 좀 제베데 대두 용하더래 된다 모두 시간이 와 다 간다 가서 페이지 게임 봐 조지 게임 좀딱 되긴 하도 타치 왔다 예 페이지 레 게임 봐봐야 그 지고 내고 딱 페이지에 지고 장자 동안에 리티 수조로 받고 할수 로한데 빌할수 아 이게 처음에 지고 장자 지는데 디지 장자 같이 그런 세조로 그 들리지와 선상 다 미페차 미 뭐지 들리려서 그러와 다 레든 데일에 봐야 가지페 디지 피스 소비 만에 간다 뭐지 저거 근데 이거로 오 저도 다 간다 페이지 게일에 한발에 저 조지 코로 소화돼 저 디지 간에 때 간다 뭐지 저거 소화 디지 요한데 그래서 남아게 다 롱지 피스 소비에서 이심바 동안 데려와 어다 스스로의 예배 생기 동안에 위시 동안에서 무슨 게 무슨 얘기나 봐. 근데 소조바다. 그리고 소조바다 생제로 맞지봐. 되게 재미있는 거라 도시. 오다 들리신가? 그 페이지 게임 거기 도시 게임 줘 봐서는 안 되빌라다 못 페이지 와다고 이래서 안 되빌라 같이 차도 좋아.
So for the first combination, virtuous projecting karma and virtuous completing karma. So for example, the god and human born in the desariums. So being born as a god or being born as a human being in desariums, those are due to a virtuous projecting karma, or in other words of saying this is projected by a virtuous karma. So then we come to completing karma. So completing karma, referring to the happiness or the experience, happiness and the suffering experienced by that being on that basis. For example, the god beings in desariums, then they spend their whole life experiencing happiness. So they only experience happiness, and then they exhaust their lifespan in happiness. And there are many people as well. They exhaust their lifespan, or they spend their lifespan in happiness as well. So those are the example of completed by a virtuous karma, or due to virtuous completing karma. Then they experience such happiness, and they exhaust their lifespan or spend their lifespan in happiness. So, for example, as the example that I mentioned just now, due to generosity, then one have abundance to experience, and to which one experience happiness. So similarly, if one experience a long life due to saving the lives of others.
니버드 페이지 메기 공부를 조지 메기 도바레스 디디레 간다다 페이지 메기 공부를 단 페이지 지레 메기와 신지 소체바다 다랑이베 신지를 메바시니 소체바라서 바들이 레테 공부다 메기 메기로 냐와라 마치로와 냐와라 마치니 디디 페이지 메기 공부와 냐와라 마치 다 조지 장고 등이 짱짱 용으로와 대시 공부 시험 바 조지서 같은 것도 딱 디디 문화에 디레다 등이 장장 용부터는 그간다 제도로 보면 이게 제도 와 오 등이 용 왔다 냐와 버리는 딱 등이 용 막이 받다 냐와 요마와 오 등냐와 맞지 저기 다그 페이지 뭐기 공부를 조지 뭐기 줘 봐요 해서
So the second combination is virtuous projecting, non-virtuous projecting karma and non-virtuous completing karma. So, for example, if a person who accumulated negative karma of killing other sentient beings and harming other sentient beings, so due to this, then one will be projected a rebirth in lower realms, like for example, being born in hell. So then, and also completed by non-virtuous karma as well. Like so, when we talk about the completing karma, so completing karma, it talks about the experience of happiness and suffering. The lifespan is exhausted in experiencing such happiness or suffering. So for the second combinations is completed by non-virtuous karma as well. So due to this, the beings being born in hell, they experience only suffering. Yeah, so the third combination is projected by a virtuous karma, however, is completed by a non-virtuous karma. For example, a being is being born as a human. So being born as a human is projected by a virtuous karma. However, being a human, a human being experience a lot of sufferings due to a non-virtuous karma. So, for example, having a short life, and have a lot of sicknesses, etc., have a lot of difficulties. So this experience of suffering is completed by non-virtuous karma. Like, for example, engage in a lot of killings due to previously accumulated actions of harming others. And the last combination is non-virtuous projecting karma and virtuous completing karma. So the example is being born as a Naga being. So due to the non-virtuous projecting karma, then a sentient being is being born as a Naga being. So this Naga being is projected by non-virtuous karma because being born as a Naga being is an animal being. So even though being born as a Naga being, they experience a great abundance and they have a lot of objects of enjoyments, like for example, being very healthy. So when we do Naga pujas, then we also know that Naga beings are wealthy. They are very wealthy. So they have a lot a lot to enjoy. They have a great abundance due to their previous virtuous karma. So it's completed by virtuous karma. Like, for example, practice generosity, practice giving, a lot of giving, practice giving to others, and also accumulate great merits. So this being, even though is born as a Naga being, an animal being, however, they have a lot to enjoy. So, for example, they have many different ornaments to put on their bodies, like for example, earrings or for example, necklaces. So then we come to next one is the distinctions between those that are definite to be experienced and those that are not definite to be experienced. So regarding this, it talks about how a contaminated karma bring forth the results of bring forth the ripened results. It talks about how contaminated karma bring forth the ripened results. So there are three ways. So first one is to be experienced in present life. The second one is to be experienced in next rebirth. The third one is to be experienced in some other rebirth. And the fourth one is not definite to be experienced. So not definite to be the fourth one, not definite to be experienced means even though there is a karma, however, the ripened result is not definite to be experienced. So it talks about how contaminated karma bring forth the ripened result. And so actions to be experienced in present lives. So what it means is the karma is accumulated in that life, and the result is ripened in that life as well. So the action is accumulated in that life, and the result is ripened in that same life as well. So for example, the actions is accumulated in the early part of life, and then one experience its result or its fruition at the middle part of life or at the later part of life. Or it could be 1 hour before. The action is accumulated 1 hour before, and the result ripened 1 hour later, and it could be even as short as a few minutes. So we don't have to think, very far. So we just think that, for example, an army. So he used his gun to shoot at another, and another being also shoot at him. So he experienced the result in that very lifetime. Yeah, another example can be thieves. So steals a lot of things, and then since it breaks the country rules, and then he's being put in the prison. So accumulations of the actions and the ripen of the fruitions of the actions are ripened in the same lifetime. So the second type is to be experienced in next rebirth. So to be experienced in next rebirth, for example, one accumulate actions in one lifetime, then you experience a result in next lifetime or in next rebirth. So for example, one accumulates virtuous karma in this life, and then one experience the happy results in next rebirth. And if one accumulate non-virtuous karma in this life, then one experience the suffering result of that karma in next rebirth. So to be experienced in some other rebirths. So karma whose frictions or result is to be experienced in some other rebirth. For example, what it means is one will experience the frictions or the result of that actions in next life. So in next life also refer to the third lifetime. So in some other rebirth refer to like third rebirth. So the fourth one is karma whose result is not definite to be experienced. So example is the first moment, then one accumulates karma of killing a sentient beings. Then so if we do not do anything about it, then this karma will bring forth the result of being born in lower realms, right? So however, this being the first moment accumulate the negative karma of killing sentient beings, and the next moment, the second moment, then he confess his negativities through applying 4 opponent powers, and the result of that negative karma is purified. Thus, he doesn't need to experience the result of that karma. Yeah. So another example is we plant a seed, plant a seed on the field, and then together with the conditions, I provide giving water and giving fertilizer as well. So if we since we have already planted, then it will, and together with the conditions, then by right it will bring forth the results. It will give rise to sprout and etc. Right. However, the second day, after I plant the seed on the field, a crow come and eat the seed. So since the crow eat the seed already, then the result of these actions become not say so the result become not definite to be experienced.
Kanan Jimmy the song condition Nami Lela Nami Kaile, the number of Kaile, Nami Nabiles, the Kanan Jimmy, yes, it did shall not teach potential ways.
Yeah. So, and then another divisions of karma or actions can be divided into three as well. The first one is a wholesome karma, or if we translate literally, then it becomes a white karma or wholesome karma. And the second one is black karma, white, and the second one is black. So a black karma or unwholesome karma or unwholesome deed. And the third one is a mixture of white and black karma.
That is what that is Namika is Namika is what the Namika is the somebody Joe got you are shibileta. Namika is somebody Joe got that under the summer Kuno de Shela, a Pinto Yakuji Chebu, son, Abkune, the Chesha Baina, Kitchashia Baina, Legalto, Kitchashia Robachepa. Chesha Baina, the Luigi de Kanda, Polape, Aribu Robachebuna, Robachia, the Lima using Doctor, Robachepa, then Namika is a bit, Ellen Jebita, Pitabush, Yumba Jacha, Namika is. Ellen Jebita, Digi presented much humor. Thank you, sir.
Some of them Joa, the Niga Giwa.
Some of the Joa Niga Giwa.
Yeah. So the first one is the white karma or the wholesome karma. So this, for example, there are two factors to make to make a wholesome karma or white karma. So the two factors are attitude, and the second factor is actions or behavior. So the first factor, attitude, referring to the motivations. So the motivations of wanting to help others. So with our three doors. So for example, you physically you help others, and then verbally you also give advice or even give dharma teachings to others, and mentally you also are wishing to help others. So with these virtuous motivations or virtuous attitudes, then together with the virtuous behavior or actions that you actually go and help others, and because of these two factors are virtuous, then its result is definite to be a happy result.
That the Sanjuniga Gishila, that's Sanjuniga Kana Niji, Sanjuniga Magishi, that's Kanda de Sumbadru,
Nibade,
Nabil, Nami Nabil. That Nami Nabil so that somebody Joanica Magiwa Shiba. That diko, you know, remember what we've been. Be white, you still never change that. Since that me, Kalina, and Bambu Socha, since Kalina, Samala, that you know, you watch it, but never give you some could do judge so be something little. They can't this is good call a Shuba, do Shuba, and Karina, that you have been $60 for the lower. 리시 제가 참았다 상주 참아 미디어 시바다 남이 나비 해서 다 데리 리시 사사에 다 남이 이제 그때 다 되면요 마도디 시 디시가 자원이요 뭐
So the second division is the black karma or unwholesome actions. So these two factors, the attitude and also behavior, both are non-virtuous. So the person have a bad motivations, like for example, wishing to harm others or wishing to do bad things, and then to take lives, to harm other creatures, etc. So body, speech, and mind engage in non-virtuous actions. So even the speech also say harsh words to others, and physically use as a weapons and stones to hit others. So with these bad motivations and bad behavior, then its ripened result of frictions then is suffering results.
Samba Gijila, Joe Mugishi was that they were some canon Jimmy, some canon Jimmy. That canon Jimmy or Samba Gijila, Joe Mugishi, as it did it. That the Peshawaina, Samba Gijila, Joe Mugishi, canon Jimmy.
So the third one is a mix. Karma that is a mixture of white and black. So this mixed karma refer to the attitude is virtuous, refer to the virtuous attitude, but the action or the behavior is non-virtuous.
That the Peshawaina, somebody, Joe Mugishi, Peshawaina, that China, which is near Chanike, should be when that could do as well, which we generally that called Julie was to do it in the Ninja and Ninja Chile, that could answer secretary Ninja Chile. The Ninja Punhane, for that she found Julie when was at the Ninja Punhane. They couldn't send them a clear down by that. And they say, well, you know, that Joa Mugi leches. Joa Mugi leches, Joa Mugi leches, somebody Jew to know the band like the Ekin Hammer. Somebody Joa Mugi was the
So this mixed karma, the attitude is virtuous and the behavior is non-virtuous. So for example, if there is a dog, so this dog has been sick for a very long time already, and and is about to die also. So however, they still linger a little bit, and however long they stay alive, then to that long they will experience the pain, right, due to sickness and etc. They will experience the great sufferings. So if a person see this and then due to compassions and then wish to end the life of this dog, so that this dog don't have to experience further sufferings, don't have to linger anymore and then experience the further sufferings. So out of this compassionate thought, and then end the life of that dog, then that becomes a mixed karma. So the attitude is virtuous, however the behavior is non-virtuous. And so another easy example that we can relate to is parents and then kids. So parents, they want their kids to study hard, right? So in order for their kids to study hard, so with a good motivations, so wanting them to study hard. So with these good motivations, then they punish their kids when they don't study. So this also becomes mixed karma. Yeah, so this is explanations about karma. So when we have a lumbering class, then we will talk about it again. So the fourth omnipresent mental factors is contact.
다 레바데 간다 리바드 컨디나 손디네 온디 용서 이와 용서 제바스 다 소위 대시들이 제스들이 우리와 다 레바스와 관계 부분은 다요 원보 신노시 손디네 네 간다 안주와 오기치 소아지에 대지 되와 레바드는 소아지가 그래서 레바드다 간다 레바스 때 카드가 시험에는 투와 그래서 제도가 이제 소아 이내와 소위 세유지가 생기시
Yeah. So regarding the entity of contact, the Compendium of Knowledge says, what is contact? And the answer is, it distinguishes the transformations of the sense power upon the aggregations of the three. And these aggregations of the three refers to object, sense powers, and consciousness or main consciousness. And this it has the functions of acting as a support for feeling. So due to context, like for example, has a touch or come in contact with something. So then we experience a feeling, right? So it has the functions of acting as a support for feeling. So in dependence on contact, then one experience the suffering and the pleasure, a pleasant feeling. So it talks about how feeling arises. So for example, due to meeting with an attractive form, the eye sense power transforms into a cause of attachment to the pleasant feeling. Likewise, contact by distinguishing an attractive form transform into a cause of a pleasant feeling. So it talks about how feeling arises. Yeah. So then the fifth omnipresent mental factors is attention. Yeah. So attentions, and according to Compendium of Knowledge says, what is attention? It is an engagement of the mind, and it has the functions of holding the mind to the object of observation. So, and this attention is a knower that focuses or directs the mind, directs its concomitant mind to a particular object of observation. So it is a knower that focuses the mind, which is concomitant with it, on a particular object of observation. In other words, it is a knower that directs the mind, directs its concomitant mind to a particular object of observation, and that is attention. So what is the difference between intention and attention? So intention is the third omnipresent mental factors, and this one is attention is the fifth omnipresent mental factors. So the difference between these two is intention moves the mind to general objects, whereas attention directs the mind to a particular object. So they differ in terms of one moves the mind or directs the mind to general objects. Intention moves the mind to general objects, and attention directs the mind or moves the mind, directs the mind to a particular object. So so the difference lies in the objects. One is general, another one is particular. And so what is the reason for calling these 5 mental factors, feeling and so forth, omnipresent? So to explain the meaning of the word omnipresent, etymologically explaining this, so the omnipresent, they are called omnipresent because they are mental factors that accompany all minds. So they are mental factors that accompany all minds. So because of this reason, mental factors such as feeling are being called omnipresent. So if any of the 5 omnipresent mental factors are missing, then the utilizations of an object will not be complete. So in other words, they are the work will not be complete, or the functions will not be complete. For example, if feeling is absent, so if feeling is absent, then there will be no experience. So in order for the mind to experience the pleasant and suffering, then it depends on feeling. So if feeling is absent, then there is no experience. That's something important. The here never in as well. That's something important. The here never in. That you timo mind semanzi ba mesa you putting jebi puri chepa nyenge di ho mari se here. Then the carbon, then the second, then mabo hit the lead, telling all us chepan jebi. Then the here time only fizarwa. So Jida Gyel-tsen but Gyel-tsen but Cognition but Kishezarwa. But that and then the hidden Mevina, you puri chepan zingedi ho mares, puri chepan jenge, puri chepan jenge di ho mare. No sense that and the human idea saying that the tiny chepan jet to Mari, puri chepan jet to Mares. So if discriminations is absent, then there will be no apprehensions of the uncommon signs of the object. So previously, then when we talk about the discriminations, then we talk about discriminations is apprehending the signs of the objects and etc. So if discriminations is absent, then one will not be able to differentiate things. So for example, this is white or this is black. So this will not be able, this distinguishings of this is white and this is black will not be able to function. So simple in the village, show about mayors that you can choose the simple draw. The simple ones killer, say you the same Kangal, simple the kitchen dressing, the simple the minute since you can't in around the system, you and you to Maria, show to Maris. Then if intention is absent, so intention is the third omnipresence that we talk about at the beginning of this class. So if intention is absent, then the mind will not be directed to an object. And when we talk about intention just now, then intention is said to be the main one among all the mental factors. So if intention is absent, then I'll say there will be no engagement of the mind to an object. So the mind will not be directed to an object.
say the term in the Delapa, Ila, Juba, Telebach, say the Delapa Tebach, Iteba, what the Lichep, Jewelry, the Ila Shepherd, the Mena, they say the thing you put that need to this.
So if attention is absent, then the mind will not be focused on a particular object of observation. So again, when we talk about attentions, like for example, if we want to cultivate calm abiding, then we take a Buddha's image as an object to meditate on. Then so our mind through attentions, then the mind will be directed to this particular object of meditations, which is the Buddha's image. So if this attention is absent, then the mind will not be able to focus on this particular object. So if contact is absent, then there will be no support for feeling. So contact is said to be like support. Therefore, in order for the utilizations of an object to be complete, all 5 omnipresent mental factors must be present without exception. So the second group is the 5 object ascertaining mental factors. So the first group is omnipresent mental factors. So the second group is 5 object ascertaining mental factors. And these 5 are aspiration, belief, mindfulness, meditative stabilization, and wisdom. So first one is aspiration, and regarding the entity of aspiration or nature of aspiration, the compendium of knowledge says, what is aspiration? And it is the very wish. So aspiration is a wish. So it is the very wish to be endowed with this or that attribute of a desired thing. And it has the functions of acting as a support for making effort. So these the functions I will talk about it. And discriminations of the middle and the extremes says the support and that supported by it, and the cause and the result. So as discriminations of the middle and the extremes and Lamrim Shenmo say, the support and that supported by it, and the cause and the result. So the meaning of this is, if we want to achieve calm abiding, first we must stop laziness. So we must put a stop to laziness at the very beginning. So because at the beginning stage, this laziness is the greatest fault that has to be eliminated. So in order to eliminate laziness, there are 4 main antidotes to be applied. So the first one is physical and verbal appliancy. The second one is joyous effort or effort. The third one is aspiration. And the fourth one is faith of conviction. So these four are the main antidotes to be applied in order to eliminate laziness. Yeah. So in order to cultivate meditative stabilizations or calm abiding, then if laziness is not eliminated, then one will not be able to have to focus on the object of observation, object of meditations for a long time. Even that focus will not be a stable one. So that concentration will not be stable. And even if you're able to meditate on that object, it will only last for a very short time. And after a short while, our mind focus on the object of meditations, then we distracted to something else. Yeah. So so as mentioned just now, so in order to eliminate laziness, then we need to apply four main antidotes, right? So we need to attain plan C. Then in order to attain plan C, or in order to attain plan C, then we need joyous effort. Yeah. So in order to attain plan C, then we need joyous effort. So joyous effort is said to be the cause to achieve a plan C. And in order to generate this joyous effort, then we need aspiration that strive for calm abiding. We need aspiration that strive for calm abiding. So this aspiration that strives for calm abiding is the cause to generate joyous effort. Without this aspiration that strive for calm abiding, then one will not be able to generate a result, generate joyous effort. Yeah. So in order to generate aspiration that strive for calm abiding, then we need the faith of conviction. Yeah, we need the faith of conviction upon knowing the immeasurable qualities of achieving come abiding. So we know that we know the benefits and we know about the unimaginable qualities one will get through achieving come abiding. So we know the benefits already, then this faith of convictions will arise. So with this faith of convictions, then one will be able to generate aspiration that strive for come abiding. So this is how it one relies on another, and this is why it said the cause and the result.
Oh, that is the one also the generate the sugar cake and sugar. We shall come to do that. Someone judge the she needs Jamba. What that she need to do that big page in each of the Deva, each of the Deva Yabu never in a better damage in Dimba the leg. Damage in Dimba the Yabu Yoba in a huge Chambona, send you the hugely John to Roa, send you the huge. Send you the Yabu Yoba in a he's on Jessica Tora, or she's a Jessica Tora. Oh, that is you know on the answer. Need and the pity she nearly got a mother. Gejo can't do a chance on the Jarda. Gejo can't even dish to the chance on the Jarda. The Yabushi will give Yabushi go see
Yeah. Yeah, so if you understand this well, so you even though the example that I give is to achieve come abiding, however, it applies to achieving all virtuous quality such as achieving come abiding. So whatever qualities that we want to achieve, whatever virtuous actions that we want to engage in, and whatever qualities that we want to achieve, it depends on these four. So we need the faith. First, we need the faith of conviction. So if we have the faith of convictions, then aspirations that strive for it, then will naturally arise. And if we have aspiration that strive for that quality or strive for that virtuous activity, then naturally it will it will induce the joyous effort. And if we have joyous effort, then definitely one will achieve the quality, or in this case is one definitely will achieve the plan C.
Oh, that's the Korean Rodan. So Gejong Korean Rodan, that jail, which is the Hinda Chamber, the loss of the Keba Sama, that the Korean depend, see the money, but what? No need to be turned to the pet, and digging on it. Generally, didn't only tell Devara, some of Tamina, didn't we need to get, and that's also told me that do be a Korean chanta, do to report to the lesson. What did the kitchen was not yesterday?
Yeah, so regarding this order or this sequence, then it's taught by great trailblazers and also by Jeremiah as well, that if we do not let it remain as words, if we do not just let it become, if we do not just follow if we do not, let it remain as word, and if we really practice it and we really put it into practice, then whatever qualities that we want to achieve and that we want to accomplish, we will actually accomplish them.
Oh, that is Jella, not so Dimba Telea, Song Shouter, Chepan did in Dimba, Mandawan did in Dimba, and the name Dimba Song, Dimba Song, number so Dimba number so Chepan did in Dimba.
Yeah. The aspiration wishing to meet, the aspiration wishing not to be separated, and the aspiration that seeks.
Oh, that is Chepan giving Dimbasana. That under Dimba, what devotion Chavina, so they were the Chepan giving Dimba. They did the Chepan giving Dimba. Oh, that's also like, did you pieces of you do a carib do a day, do you agree? The tennis in the do a tennis in the back. So did you pieces of a card do not turn in the back? Chepan giving the bus. Did a Chepan giving the back.
So the aspiration wishing to meet, like for example, aspiration wishing to meet happiness. So this aspiration is the aspiration wishing to meet, to meet. Like for example, the excellent happiness that we wish to meet, and that is aspiration wishing to meet with the excellent happiness.
다 님바도 문다완데 님바를 오다 다 소소 대지도 문다완데 님바 들다 와 다니 고도 시가 담보 고도 대지 최반데 님바 들어와 다 님바데 대지도 문다완데 님바 들어와 대지도 문다와 뭐지 세미신 헬레우야 동화도 저와지 동화도 문다와지 저리 세미신 리미와
세만 온라인
세미신으로 들어
세미시
세미신으로 리미야 되지
세미시
된다 그래 다
세미시
안다
네, 자.
디지털 만들어한테 맞지.
So the second type is the aspiration wishing not to be separated. Like for example, the aspiration wishing not to be separated from happiness. So the first one is to meet happiness, right? To meet with the happiness, and the second one is not to be separated from the happiness. So, and is also is one of the four immeasurables.
다 되는 임바세 되자도 다 되지도 않아서 때 소소가 되는 임바데 너 뭐지 소 관리나 정말 되는 임바세 되려와 근데 되는 임바세 청소하셔 주고 와 지금
so the aspiration that seeks or that strives in general there are many types. It can be the aspiration that strives for good business, the aspiration that strives for abundance of enjoyments, and that strive for great wealth. So among the aspirations that seeks, the best one will be the aspiration that seeks or strives for liberations, and the aspiration that strives for the state of enlightenment. Yeah, so the aspirations that seeks is of many types. For example, the aspiration seeking wishes. So same as above, like for example, the aspirations that wish for the seeking wishes of having great wealth, having a great abundance, and then this aspiration seeking views can be aspiration seeking the view of realizing emptiness. So the second one is belief. So regarding the entity of beliefs, the Compendium of Knowledge says, so what is belief? It holds an ascertained thing to be just the way it has been ascertained. It has the functions of non-captivation. So belief is a knower which holds the object that has been ascertained by its valid cognition, thinking it is just like this and not otherwise. So in other words, it is a knower which holds the object that has been ascertained by valid cognition to be just so. That to be just so, or to be just like that, then that knower is belief. And the function is specified as non-captivation because when one has gained firm belief in the object that one has ascertained, an opponent cannot steer one away from it. So belief is very important because if we properly ascertain the meaning, then if we and the firm belief will arise, and if we have firm beliefs, then no matter how others trying to lead you away by saying that, oh, that thing is not good, the things that you have belief in, then it's not good, etc. This opponent cannot lead you away from something that you have firm belief in. Yeah, so for example, Buddhists, they take refuge in three jewels, Buddha jewels, Dharma jewels, and Sangha jewels. So if you ascertain the three jewels properly and you develop a firm belief in it, and if after you develop firm belief in these three jewels, and if someone else trying to tell you that Buddha is not the actual jewels, the Dharma is not the actual jewel, Sangha is not the actual jewel, you will not be led astray by them. Yeah. So engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds says, the Muni has taught that beliefs is the root of all that belongs to the class of virtue, and the root of that is constant meditations on the frictional results. So Buddha taught that beliefs is the root of all virtuous qualities.
That's what temba in the roa, timbing water. That timbing water, that number kundi, timba in deeping of a city Japan over the number of that is roa.
And the third object of sustaining mental factors is mindfulness. So regarding the nature of mindfulness, the Compendium of Knowledge says, so what is mindfulness? It is a non-forgetfulness of the mind with respect to a familiar object. It has the functions of non-distraction. So regarding mindfulness, this knower that possesses three features. So regarding these this knower possesses three features. In Lamrim Chenmo, then there is a great length of quotations quoted from the Compendium of Knowledge. And these three features are objective features. It refers to a familiar object, and subjective aspect feature, and refers to a non-forgetfulness upon having observed that object, and functional feature or feature of function. So it refers to non-distraction. So referring to the first feature, objective feature, it refers to a familiar object. It must be a familiar object. So since mindfulness is not produced with respect to that which has not been previously familiarized with, the objective feature is stated as a familiar object. So the the feature of object or the objective feature must be a familiar object. So for example, if in order to remember our the face of our parents, then it must be something that it must be we must have familiarized with. We must have familiarized with the looks of our parents, right? So we have seen the looks of our parents, appearance, the looks of our parents, then we're able to remember their face, etc. So similar to, in order to remember our friends, then we must have familiarized with the look of our friends first. Then only we can generate the mindfulness that remembers the face of our friends, right?
The correct chiveti chin triu maro hindi triu mar khadarwa ya chuchi tambo da tambo ondi yoba ji yes teta tambo ondi yoba ji yes shis de anda temba chewala tambo ma ondi yobu yes tela komata ondi ji yes wa de me vai na te triu maro ye ngaso sani michi kesan zinda correct chis tela yes so zinda ma de vai na ye de chisin triu maro shia yo maro de shi de
Yeah. So, for example, today's lesson. So, in order to remember today's lessons, first you must be familiar with today's lesson, right? So, otherwise, if you do not become familiar with today's lessons, then tomorrow you will not be able to remember any of them, right? So, what it means is trying to say here is, in order to remember something, first you must become familiar with it. So in order to remember at a later time, first you must become familiar with the object. Without the familiarization, then one will not be able to remember it. So for example, if a person do not even come to the class at all, so don't mention that this person will be able to remember the lessons. So even if this person able to tell you the lessons of yesterday lessons, then all that will be just like.
That is tambo de ingarwa. That is tambo de maze kondi yoba chiwa. Anda kondi yoba chiye de tambo kondi yoba.
So the first feature is something that you're familiar with.
That is nimba the nambi chiba yutela mini jeba meba se. De karlo wasna. Da na ndisarwa da. Nambi sarita da so loyido chawachi. Samo tawodi loyido chawachi guri eserwa. Loyido chawachi guri eserwa. Ngaman ritsa de riba de da piso so samo yabo ni tani so loyido chawachi guri eserwa. Loyido chawachi. So loyido manchaba yo tendu marwa. Tendu marwa.
So that's the second feature is a subjective feature. So it refers to a non-forgetfulness upon having observed that object. So when we talk about the objective feature, then we say we must become familiar with the object, right? So first you become familiar with it. And then second, you have to you have to think about it properly. And then to make it appears to your mind, appears an object in your mind without properly thinking about it and make it appears as an object in your mind, then one will not be able to remember it as well.
Oh, that is chichini badrwa. Andamna dibinge botela samo ya bo tanete ila shawachi adarwa ila shawachi ese tade.
So first you become familiar with it, and then second you cause it to appear to your mind by properly thinking about it.
Da ila shawa de matse da chichi sumba drowa da chichi sumba de karsna da so chichi sumba de tenda derewa shili cheban namba mewa she paase da so pe tambo kondi che yanju de karina tambo de ila kondi che de ila shawa la sango ta ila shawa matse pe tambo kondi che de ma de shenda nda mambo la pase maeba so ge chine gongwe na tambo chine gongwe ni pa tewa la pa sanotane say here the Maya Balawata. Say here is the young people that say me to Marwa. What indeed so great, indeed so the Tambaina, the temper the money pit our Chabris. The temper me but need to be as well. The temper same my woman deep in a competition.
So not only having the first two features, the objective features and the subjective features, then you also must possess the third feature, which is a feature of functions, which is non-distractions. So first you become familiar with it, and then second you cause it to appear to your mind by properly thinking about it, and the third one is you do not get distracted to something else. Your mind do not get distracted to something else. For example, if you want to familiarize yourself with karma abidings, then your mind do not get distracted to something other than karma abiding. So, and with this, then the mindfulness will be able to focus on the object.
That temper pit double the Jabalana Tambo Kundi Yoba Chua. The Kundi Yoba Maziti, Susuyana, in the Sanotans, the Yila Shawa Sotochi. That Yila Shawa Yabu Sotoina. Yila Shawa Dela Sanotama, the same Hila, Samala Mayaba Chua, Mayabaji. And this is Sanotamaina. The temper the Nene Susugi, Kundi Chisagi, Yane Chisagi, Chikarina, the temper the Tembo Dela, meaning temper the Tembo the New, the Sira Taran. They need to this or say the army. They say the army with it. They temper the Kanda, see me, but they are new with it. They pay, she wants a geba. They want to go to Maris or go to Maris. But that day, so the one Nigala pay and that temper the pay, Missy, Chichi Sunday, the one Nigala pay, Hindu kitchen or yes, and the one Nigala, Dubanyani, Karichina, the Hindu kitchen or yes, with
yeah. So these three features are very important. So in terms of, from the perspective of Sutra and also from the perspective of Tantra as well, these three are very important to generate the mindfulness. So the objective feature, the subjective feature, and also the functional feature. So, and this mindfulness is said to be the foundations of all practices, because in dependence on mindfulness, the mind properly focus on the object. The mind is properly focused on the object. So when the mind is properly focusing on the object, then it will not fall under the influence of excitement and laxity. So because of this, it is very important from the perspective of both Sutra and Tantra.
So this is the what the chamber did, Kanda, in Yamba, that you want to be heating in the town. You want to go. One should use a temper the heat and the heating with what we get on and the Jibara. That I see the temper and yellow about that. The Michigan also chamber like a Mando, this is what cheating money gets in Mambushi. That's so much of Kashiba was a thing for Kashiba was the Jiba church. And nothing on the Chidan temper the mother. That the chance to hear me.
Karikashiva, Junjua.
Kapshiba, Jima Kapshiba, not to see Kapshiba and also Mondogia. Only the Kapshiba. Kapshiba was alone in Yorua. Kapshiba got that temper. They have to Jibba. Take us to Jibba. That and then they got another Chidan temper. Not to say so much. She had been tomorrow.
Yeah. So the protector Nagarjuna says in his letter to a friend, so, O Lord, the Sugata taught that mindfulness of the body is the sole path to be traversed. Pay attention and guard it. Due to mindfulness degenerating, all qualities will be destroyed. So there are many different types of mindfulness as well. So when we come to the ornament of clear realizations, the fourth chapter, so in this subject, then we are going to talk about the applications of full mindfulness. So in his letter to a friend, he says that due to mindfulness degenerating, so if the mindfulness degenerates, then all qualities will be destroyed.
The chamber the changing temper the heating is a good channel. I want to check your condition. Changing it, temper to go, yes, and also to do some like chamber the heat by who you are. Sujiswala, who were a Kali Shaw, Kali, you are Kali Dugina, that Timber Higin the never who were. The Higin saw the answer pay, Yepe, and the social pay, me punches, Genera Gona, me punches the Telepa, state, dinner timber timbers in it, say Gelapa, the Sharachi, the J, Dundu, this is Sharachi, say the Patin in Zingina, say the Panzini, slow and Dundu, but the little what that did, Jinju with the letter on it, Jinju with the Damazo, Tashi in the kitchen, which that is, I did it at the chance of Shimo, which fits in Mambu Sugar, and the day on it, the Mambu was there.
Yeah. So, so engaging in the bodhisattva deeds are quoted here as well. So, the meaning in engaging in the bodhisattva deeds are same as like the letter to a friend. So what is the meaning here is the meaning here is we need mindfulness, and we need vigilance, and then we need non-carelessness as well, or conscientiousness. So, and in order to guard our morality properly, then we must need these three. And out of these three, the first two are the most important, the mindfulness and vigilance. So we must need a firm mindfulness and a strong vigilance as well. So the mindfulness talks about the mind single-pointedly focus on the object, and the vigilance talks about is like a guard that checks whether the mind is being distracted to something else or not.
That the motion of the no one the one nigga the things the country to do when that timber the healing in kitchen was that is at the end of the day that change of the that's no mambo the see mambo the change in my city jibina she was at work and that do the study.
Yeah, so to summarize the meaning of these quotations, so it talks about the importance to have mindfulness and vigilance in order to generate the meditative civilizations from the sutra aspect and from the tantra aspects.
But the idea is that Jelly to things what things you come on to is what Jeva was
yeah. So today I'm going to stop here, and next class I'm going to start with meditative civilization. So stop here. So stop here. Yeah. So you can ask your questions in next class.
Doing beats on the Latin. Chicken but you want to what you that and that also probably Montuda, Nia to get such a should be little do, but the sort of Montuda Nia to put little Doya, the mission was where Chiwa. Bill Hobart was a Kadilla Halachi, the Kadilla Savamuchi, and there were two bullshit kind of a community, but the music Yamata control, music on some of training. Then two bullshit kind of a community, but do the dictionary when you watch it.
Yeah, so we conclude with dedication. We dedicate the roots of virtue accumulated, especially through these Dharma discussions, maybe the complete course for the flourishings of Buddha Dharma and for the happiness of sentient beings as well. We also dedicate these roots of virtue for the to pacify the wars and conflicts that happens all around the world, and also to pacify the disaster that happens all around the world as well. And in particular, we also dedicate these roots of virtue for Gyel-tsen Lama Sopa Rinpoche's holy wishes to be accomplished instantaneously without any obstacles, and may his sickness be may he immediately regain. May Rinpoche immediately regain his health. Sabeki tendang roa kuna kambe na keba jizun lo san rawa yi tembe ni bo rendo se je jo senjo rinpo che ma keba na ki kyu che keba nyamba me ma yang kone kondo pewa jo awe chida kemba dan kondo sambo te an te jin te te ta kungi jesu da lo che kewa te da tang je ra ko mo tongi tangi dawa rinpo che ma keba na ki kyu che keba nyamba me ma yang kondo pewa jo rimye dawa rinpo che ma keba na ki kyu che keba nyamba me ma yang kone kondo pewa jo tutu changshin jambu kebe ten singyong pewe kunso do bo se kuwe lembe tutu ban taso du je kondo sha te jo je sun du ju be lang chi se 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 kang chen chen ju gun cha na pe mo ten sing ga so la so wa de so she de le jo jo kan de pen de ma lu ba kang de ju we sam be yi shi no ka de chu me ten sing ga so la so wa de so tu je le jo jo ra we ko we shin kan de pen dang de wa ma lu ju we ni che re si wa ten sing ga so yi sha be si de ba do thank you ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Geshe-la.
Everyone, good night.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Bye.
Good night.